We should mention this is a split crew of officials here today. That may be something we won't see in the future. There is talk about getting rid of split crews, but I talked to one official yesterday who said he thinks it won't happen in quite a while.
You know, last year Matt Rogers was a rookie for the Hawkeyes. We'll see if Bob Utter can overcome that first big game today. There's Jeff Skillett. He'll put his foot on the ball, and the 1990 meeting between the Hawkeyes and Cyclones is underway. And Hill, 1 yard deep in the end zone, gets out to about the 20.
Gary Clark down on the tackle that time for the Iowa Hawkeyes. So Cyclones get pretty fair starting position at the 19-yard line. As Marcus said, the freshman Bob Utter in at quarterback, and I guarantee you there was nothing like this at Brother Rice High School last year.
Utter comes into the ball game 2 for 3 last week against the Minnesota Golden Gophers in the late going. And Iowa State will send out 3 wide receivers, all to the left side. Sherman Williams, the only setback in the backfield. Utter, quick slant pass, incomplete. Intended for John Glotfeldy, the flanker. A little nervous energy there, John, overthrowing him.
Just a little nervous energy. Quick drop, quick pass. Glotfeldy couldn't hold on to it. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Glotfeldy comes into the game with 6 receptions for 107 yards, averaging almost 18 yards per catch. That play almost worked to perfection the entire first half last week against Minnesota. Same formation. Same play. Glotfeldy has it. First down across the 30 to the 34. And Iowa rolls him down. Brian Weiss, the strong safety, comes up to make the hit, along with Leroy Smith.
Well, they obviously felt from the first play that he was still open. They're going to go it again, and they got the completion to Glotfeldy.
Now Iowa State comes in with an I formation. Sundiata Patterson will be the fullback. They'll bring Mahoney in motion. To the right side, the pitch goes to Williams, and he has nowhere to run. Rod Davis, the nose guard, closes the hole for no gain.
That's one of the strengths of Rod Davis. Iowa strong at the nose guard position this year. Watch Davis just go by the blockers and come right in on top of Williams. Nowhere to go. Rod Davis, very, very quick, Mark.
Brings up a 2nd down and 11 according to the scoreboard. So actually a loss of 1 on the play, and the ball spotted at the Cyclone 34-yard line. Just underway, Kinnick Stadium, Iowa City, Iowa. This time, Williams. Fumble. And it's still loose, and Iowa has come up with it. Eddie Polly has fallen on the football inside the 40-yard line, and now a fight down on the field. You don't think tempers aren't flying in this one. And now the bench of the Iowa Hawkeyes comes out onto the field. Iowa State staying back, and the Cyclone coaches getting in front of the Iowa State team. So the only team that came out on the field was Iowa. And listen to the roar of the crowd.
We definitely didn't need that to start things off with, Mark.
And now the flag is down on the field because of the fracas, and we'll see how they rule it.
Well, you can bet these officials want to get control of this game right away. There was an ugly scene here last year with the fans throwing things on the field, but this is the first time that I can remember the Hawkeyes coming out like this.
There's Hayden Fry. He was out on the field. I don't think anything like this has ever happened in an Iowa State game. Let's listen to Jim Kemmerling, the umpire.
We have a dead ball. Unsportsmanlike against the offense. Unsportsmanlike there. Offset. First down.
Now, let's take another look at exactly what happened. Jim Wallen was afraid of turnovers. He said, that will kill us. And on the first possession, Sherman Williams coughs it up.
Well, Jim Johnson made the hit, and there's Eddie Polly, 27. The ball's kicked loose, and Polly keeps going for it. And no running with it that time, Mark. He's just going to cover the ball and give it to the Hawkeyes in great field position.
Iowa will take over just across the 40-yard line, 1st and 10. And there comes Matt Rogers. Last week, 15 of 27, 2 interceptions for 191 yards. He's hitting 56% of his passes, but he also carried for 38 yards. And last week, Iowa had a record-setting day.
On the ground, 9 touchdowns rushing, so a surprise there. But Hayden Fry wants to develop this rushing game, and that was a good way to start. Rogers, of course, had a great game against Iowa State last year over in Ames in his first start. 3 touchdowns in that ball game. This is his second time round to face a college team for the second time.
Less than 2 minutes gone in the first quarter. Clock stop. 13:46 to go in the first. And now we are ready to play, says referee Jim Kimmerly. Rogers, 7th in Iowa career passing, over 2,400 yards. And it'll be Montgomery, the fullback, and Stewart, the tailback. In motion goes Hughes. The pitch goes to Stewart. And Iowa State shuts the door. Right about the line of scrimmage, it's Marcus Robertson, the all-Big 8 cornerback, that comes to put the hit on him.
And that's why Robertson is so valuable to Iowa State. There's a lot of talk he'll play free safety in the pros, but he's just too big and too good a tackler to let up and not have out there on the corner for their defense.
Iowa State has played 2 games, and they are allowing opponents only 84 yards average rushing per game. Iowa State first in the Big 8 against the rush. Same formation. Tight end is standing up. The handoff goes to Stewart. Left end. Big hole. First down and more. And Stewart still on his feet to the 20. Tony Stewart finds some daylight, and Iowa State moves the sticks.
Watch the tight end, number 84, Ron Ryan. Good block right there on number 40, and that opens the way for Stewart. Then he just runs through some tackles. Dana Hughes, number 3, also blocking downfield.
Finally caught by Matt Rayberg, and there's a good look at Tony Stewart. Comes into the ball game with 114 yards last week against the Bearcats of Cincinnati. And Stewart again, right up the middle. Down to about the 11-yard line. Or the Hawkeye front line is really opening up some holes, John. Let's take a look from ground level.
A lot of beef up front for Iowa. You see Stewart going through there.
Gain of 6 on the play brings up 2nd down and 4. The ball spotted on the Cyclone 12. Rogers hands off to Stewart. Tries the left side, and very little there. Little, if any, gain. Mark DeBrava, the free safety, came up to put the insurance tag on him.
Good gang tackling right there by the Iowa State Cyclones. But the Hawkeyes picked up the first down. There's Matt Rogers.
Hayden Fry calls the plays, and he sends them in from the sidelines. Jim Walden lets his offensive coordinator call most of the plays and signals them in from the sideline.
John Falloon in at wide receiver now for the Hawkeyes. He brought the play in.
Falloon split to the right side. It's Dana Hughes coming in motion. And the pitch goes to Stewart. And Iowa State shuts the door again. Stewart with very little gain up to about the 7-yard line.
Walker, number 6 on the top for Iowa State.
Here's the play again now. Stewart behind Lou Montgomery. Montgomery gets a piece of his man, but Iowa State's there. Number 25, Mark DeBrava, one of the 3 Iowa State tacklers. DeBrava had a big game last week against Minnesota with 13 tackles.
From the 7. Slot formation to the left side. Here's the option and the rollout. Touchdown, Iowa! Rogers complete to Michael Titley. Rogers had all day to unload it. And when he did, Titley was there, and it's 6-0 Hawkeyes.
That is Michael Titley's first collegiate touchdown. I'm sure he's thrilled about that, as you can see. Here it is. Rogers just going to roll out, play action to Stewart. Has plenty of time out here, and then looks right along the end line. And Michael Titley was there. Nice catch by Michael Titley.
Titley had double coverage down there, but still collects it for the TD, and the point after is good. So we have 10:55 to go in the first quarter here at a sold-out Kinnick Stadium. Iowa State turned it over on their first possession. The Hawkeyes found the end zone. In Iowa City, the Iowa Hawkeyes up 7-0 with 10:55 to play in the first. And Iowa getting set to kick off for the second time this afternoon. Iowa State took possession first, but it resulted in a turnover inside their own territory. This one heading down towards Hill. And Hill up to the 25 and then drilled at about the 27. Gary Clark puts the hit on Lamont Hill, and here's the scoring drive. 6 plays, 39 yards. And as we said, it didn't take long. 3 minutes, 1 second. Rogers to Titley, a 7-yard TD pass in the right corner of the end zone. And there's Matt Rogers.
Good start for the Hawkeyes, Mark. Excuse me, good start. They didn't score in the first quarter last week. Iowa State has also had trouble scoring in the first quarter with only 3 points, 3 first quarter points in 2 games.
Iowa State opening up in an I formation. They move tight end Mike Mahoney over to the right side, then send fullback Sundiata Patterson in motion. Here's the slant pass complete to Chris Spencer. And Spencer picks up the first down. Doug Book puts the hit on him.
You called it, just a quick one, about a 2-step drop, and Utter is firing, and he has his man. Iowa's going to have to figure out how to stop this little pass.
Ball spotted down at the 44-yard line. Chris Spencer injured back in 1989, didn't play. But he's certainly contributing this year to Cyclones' success. Single back set, 3 wide receivers, trips to the right. Handoff goes to Sherman, and he cuts right and picks up a nice gain of about 7 or 8. Sherman Williams tries up the middle, made a little juke step, then ran into Leroy Smith.
This guy's lightning quick, a 4.29 in the 40 he was once timed at. And as we see here, some power also as he runs out of the tackle before finally going down.
Sherman Williams, a true sophomore, a little guy, 5'8", 174-pounder. Gain of 8 on the play, 2nd down and 2 on the 48-yard line. Into Iowa territory for the first time today. Patterson, the fullback, across the 40 to the 39. Leroy Smith again makes the stop, but Iowa State's ground game certainly going to work here.
If they can run against the Hawkeyes, and here we see the play, just some zone blocking, and he runs to daylight. Nice play by Patterson. Iowa State matches up well size-wise up front, Mark, in this game.
Patterson, only a sophomore also, 6 foot, 197-pounder. Came into the game with only 4 carries. Utter wants to throw. He'll tuck it away and scamper for his life to the 36. A gain of 2 for Bob Utter, and he's covered by John Derby, the linebacker.
You know, that might help him just a little bit to finally be hit out there on the field and get some of those jitters out of the way. Iowa had the receivers well covered on that one. He had a lot of time, just didn't have anybody open, so he did the right thing, tucked it under and ran.
Utter last week, as we mentioned earlier, threw 3 passes against Minnesota, connected on 2 of them. This time the draw play goes to Williams. He's got a big hole. If he can get by, he almost had it. Across the 20, rolled down inside the 15 at the 14-yard line. Ryan Weiss, the strong safety, finally made the game-saving tackle or the score-saving tackle on that particular play.
Iowa State taking advantage of a big Iowa rush here. Great call on the draw, and there you see Spencer. He just runs away from Doug Book, and finally 2 Hawkeyes catch up with him.
High formation for the Cyclones. Both wide receivers split to the right side. First down at the Iowa 14-yard line. Sherman Williams again. Down to the 10. Is it a fumble? Nope. The line judge right there on the play says he was down. Mel Foster put the hit on Williams. Take another look at it to see if he indeed was down when that ball pops loose.
We called Williams Spencer a second ago. This is indeed Williams.
Oh, yeah. He's
Ball
right
pops loose.
Good call. Second down and 6. The tight end Mahoney in motion. The fullback Patterson down to about the 6. Gain of about 5 on the play. Matt Rulin made the stop. There's Sundiata Patterson, 6 foot, 197-pound sophomore from Detroit.
JV player last year, coming into his own right now.
Hasn't done badly so far this year for Jim Walden. As you can see right there, 2 carries today, 14 yards. And he comes into the game averaging 5.5 per call. Third down and 2. Boy, wouldn't this give Iowa State some early momentum. Utter wants to throw, quarterback draw. He has the first down, but he stopped short of the goal line. And it may be close enough to measure. Utter spotted at the 3, and he needed to get to the 3.5, so it should be a 1st and goal. Jim Johnson makes the tackle.
Well, he's looking to his right, nobody open there, so he feels some open space, goes left, and Johnson finally hog-ties him. But I'm really impressed so far with Utter's performance here, Mark. Very composed so far.
Troy Moore goes split wide to the right, and he set a passing record as a high school senior, as you see right there. I formation, 1st and goal at the 3. Williams. Close, but I don't believe he gets in. He stopped short of the goal line. Let's take another look here, John, from the end zone.
Williams coming out of that I-back. Soon he had a Patterson in front of him. Puts a block on Foster. The Hawkeyes just collapsed. Eddie Polly in there, part of the Hawkeye tackling bunch.
Got to hand it to Mel Foster there. He fought off one block and still gets credit for part of the tackle. 2nd and goal at the 1. Wonder if Bob Utter will call his own number. Nope. Williams. And he stopped short again. And listen to the Hawkeye fans. They love it.
Well, the big guys pull here for Iowa State, but the Hawkeyes smell it out. John Derby moves in there, Melvin Foster, Jim Johnson, Moses Santos, all in on the stop.
Jim Walden was very upset last week because Iowa State had the same situation in Minnesota, and they were unable to punch it in. They had to settle for a field goal in their first drive against Minnesota. So far today, Iowa State 1 of 1 on 3rd down conversions. And now timeout call by Bob Utter of Iowa State. 5:13 to go in the first. Iowa State knocking on the door. Goal from the 1. Utter calls his own number, and let's see if he makes it. An Iowa State player held up his arms. Now the line judges trying to unpile everyone.
Matt Rulin was in that Iowa State backfield very quickly. I'm not sure that he got in. And the crowd will tell you he didn't, Mark.
He's still short. And now decision time for that gentleman, Jim Walden. They had the same scenario last week at Minnesota, as we said, and had to settle for 3. They are not going to try it this time. They're going for it.
I I think this is the right call in this situation. Even if they don't get it, they have Iowa pinned in their own end zone. This could be a big lift for the Cyclones if they get in the end zone right now.
Double tight end formation. They send in, well, no, they take Mahoney out. They bring in Hussein Warmack. Utter tries it again. Touchdown, Iowa State. And the freshman guides the Cyclones to the end zone on the second Cyclone possession of the afternoon.
Well, even though the Iowa State Cyclone fans are located in the other end zone, they like this one as they see Utter just sneak over his left guard and go in.
John, there is a flag down on the field. This one may come back. Let's listen. No, it's a personal foul against Iowa, so the score will count, and the penalty assessed on the kickoff.
Touchdown scored by number 19, Bob Utter.
Jeff Shudak on now to attempt the point after. Shudak so far perfect on the year, and let's listen to the
Offense will be assessed on a kickoff.
Mark, with Peterson hurt, John Schnorr, the punter, will be doing the holding today for the placements.
interesting point. Everybody says the quarterback's out, but they don't realize that could play a big role in a situation like this. Shudak 6 of 6 on the year. Ball is up, and it's good. And we are tied in Iowa City with 4:45 to play in the first. Iowa State will pick up a little yardage due to that personal foul penalty on the kickoff. And we'll be back to Iowa City after this timeout. Team plays 72 yards in 6 minutes 2 seconds, and it's Bob Utter with a 1-yard quarterback sneak for the score. And there's the look at the freshman. 2 of 3 today in the passing department, and he's carried 4 times for 6 yards. But boy, that was a big score for Iowa State, John. Iowa State needed the touchdown. This one will not be run back. Into the end zone, touchback. And Iowa will start out on their own 20-yard line.
Well, that's a heck of a kick when you consider the wind's coming out of the north, Mark, that he put it in there.
Had a little advantage from the penalty, though, also.
Yes, that's true. I forgot about that. Exactly. Jeff Antilla wanted no part of that, so the Hawks will start at the 20.
Matt Rogers comes on to guide the Hawkeyes in their second possession of the afternoon. The first one ended up a TD to Michael Titling. And it's still Tony Stewart and Lou Montgomery in the backfield. Danon Hughes in motion. The rollout by Rogers. Pitches it to Stewart. Nowhere to go, and picks up a couple. The option play is not foreign to Iowa State. They see a lot of that from Oklahoma over the years.
In past years, Iowa has run this option play down near the goal line, but they showed last week that they're willing to run it out in the open field, and here's a definite...
Marcus Robertson put the hit on, but then Stewart still fought his way for a couple more. Gain of 3 on the play. 2nd down and 7 at the 23. This time, the handoff goes to Stewart, and he is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Dead in his tracks by number 99, Mark Dunn. Among the other pile, Dan Milner also in on the tackle.
Good defense here by the Cyclones. This is the one thing that they want to do. They want to put Iowa in predictable situations. Milner, nice hit there for the tackle.
A gain of 1 brings up 3rd down and 6. Split backs in the backfield now. A new formation. Straight drop back by Rogers, and in and out of the hands of Tony Stewart. He was wide open coming out of the backfield, simply couldn't hang on. Maybe looked before he had the ball.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. The ball was coming. He kind of cocked his head just a little bit, and that's what happens. You got to concentrate. You got to look it all the way in.
So Iowa forced to punt for the first time today, and back deep is Jim Hysack to do the punting. Iowa State will send Marcus Robertson back along with Jason Williams. Hysack with a high one to Williams. He gathers it in at the 41 and has a nice return across midfield into Iowa territory to about the 46. There may be a flag down on the play. Check the penalty here. Here it comes. Clipping against Iowa State.
Iowa State.
41-yard punt for Hyzak.
Even with the penalty, Iowa State will have good field position here.
Well, they still haven't spotted the ball after marching off the penalty. Here it comes.
I have a dead ball. Clip after the run back. 1st and 25.
Ooh, that's an even bigger call because now the Cyclones will start out 1st and 25.
Yeah, as I said, great field position, but now we find out not such a good situation.
3 wide receivers to the left side for Iowa State. The lone setback is Sherman Williams. And Utter wants to throw. He's 2 of 3, make it 3 of 4. Has his man up to midfield. And it's complete to Williams coming out of the backfield. Eddie Polly in on the stop.
Coming into this game, he only had 1 reception for 39 yards. Nice catch here by Williams, wide open on the side. Little safety valve type pass, and Polly moves in on the stop.
Well, that's a way to gallop a 1st and 25. They pick up half of it in 1 play. Brings up 2nd down and 13. And the ball also in Iowa territory at the Hawkeye 49. Utter 3 of 4, 42 yards, 1 TD today, but that by rushing. Quick one, slant out to Glatfeldy. It's a horse race. 1st down. He gets by the man coverage, and he's open. But Brian Wise catches Glatfeldy from behind.
That was Doug Book that he beat on that coverage right there. Here we're going to see it. A quick pass, about a 1-step rock. Book doesn't get the tackle. Glatfeldy takes it down the center of the field.
So Iowa State on the march. And there's a good look at John Glatfeldy. Comes into the game with 6 receptions on the year, averaging almost 18 yards per catch. Over 100 yards in receptions. I formation. And, ooh, Bob Utter calls timeout. And I don't know if Jim Walden really wanted him to do that. That's the 2nd TD called by Iowa State here in the 1st half. Utter goes to the sideline to talk to Jim Walden, and apparently he saw something that he didn't like.
Norm Anderson, the offensive coordinator, or the offensive quarterback coach and running back coach over there talking along with Walden to Utter. Utter so far has been very composed, doing a good job out there for a freshman. Coming out of Brother Rice High School over in Michigan.
And on the other bench, Iowa coach Hayden Fry. Hayden is in his 29th year of college coaching. 173, 135 and 8. He's 84, 46 and 4 at Iowa. Other games this afternoon. Early in the 1st quarter, the Michigan Wolverines leading the UCLA Bruins 14-0. No score between the Razorbacks and Ole Miss. Here in Iowa City, it's all tied 7-all, and we have 2:09 to go in the 1st. First and 10 at the Hawkeye 30. In at fullback right now, another freshman for Iowa State. That's Jay Jordan. And the handoff goes to Williams, tries to cut against the grain, and there's no opening there. Jim Johnson makes the stop. Johnson had 14 tackles against Iowa State last year.
Well, he's from Forest City. He really gets into this rivalry. He enjoys this game. As we heard in the pregame, he said he was speechless. He couldn't wait to play the ball game.
I'm not so sure this might be Jay Jordan's first game experience out there.
Well, he's a freshman from Parkersburg.
Audible at the line. Jordan gets the call and gets a couple straight up the middle. John Derby, the linebacker, makes the hit.
Jordan, great career at Parkersburg High School. 2,142 yards rushing and 28 touchdowns. First team All-State. Played in the Shrine game up at the Unidome this year. As a matter of fact, on his team in the backfield in that Shrine game, Ed Threet, Corey Bender, both playing for UNI now, LaShane Sadler, who's over at Notre Dame, and Jay Jordan.
Iowa State goes with 3 wide receivers. Jordan comes out. Troy Moore comes into the lineup. And Utter has called timeout again. Iowa State, with 51 seconds to play in the first quarter, is out of timeouts for the half.
Well, he's coming up there, and obviously the Iowa defense is showing him something that he cannot understand or doesn't want to run the play against.
Now, this is freshman stuff.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. But he's also so composed that he's not trying to run the play against something that he doesn't understand. So he's coming over here and talking to the Iowa State coaches.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. He may learn more today than he's learned in 4 years of high school and the first 3 weeks of college. They paint their faces in Iowa City.
And their bodies.
And the Cyclone brass section doing a little workout. There's Hayden Fry pacing nervously on the sideline. He wants to win this game. So does Jim Walden. And as we said, emotions are strained due to that film flap this week. No timeouts remaining for Iowa State. Let's hope they don't need one before the halftime gun sounds.
Well, they're certainly in a hole from that point of view. They're out of timeouts. If they get in a 2-minute offense situation towards the end of the half, they obviously won't have a timeout to work with. The key will be, will Utter have to call these timeouts early in the third or fourth quarter if it's a close ball game?
Same formation. 3 wide receivers. Moore, Glotfeldy, split wide. Audible perhaps again. Utter straight back to throw. Throwing deep for Glotfeldy and overthrows everyone. He went for the end zone. And now it brings up 4th and 8. And I would imagine that Iowa State may try a field goal here, and indeed they will. Jeff Shudak comes in. He has a 40-yarder as his longest so far this year, but he, in practice, has kicked him as far as 55, 60 yards. He really has a leg.
Well, he'll be kicking into a stiff wind, however, on this one. And he'll be kicking off the natural turf.
A 45-yard attempt, straightaway center. The ball is long enough, but it's no good. It's off to the side. He had the distance, but not the accuracy. So the Hawkeyes hold. 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. So far, Iowa has scored once, Iowa State once. Each team has stopped the other one time.
Well, I'm impressed with Iowa State coming in here without their 3 big guns, or 3 of their bigger guns, in Blaze Bryant, Peterson, and Watkins. They're showing a lot of moxie so far. Iowa has the wind behind their backs. They need to take advantage of that right now.
Nick Bell checks in at tailback now. The big guy comes in for the Hawkeyes. His first appearance today, complete to Michael Titley. First down, Iowa across the 40-yard line. And what a sidearm rocket from Rogers.
Michael Titley having a big game. Rogers looking to him so far in the first quarter. Just gets in the seam of that zone defense, and he's wide open.
Tackle for Iowa State. That is good for a first down.
Brava and Lazard coming in on the tackle. And there's Rogers wearing that tinted visor, Mark.
Guess that's really a twofold purpose. One, it acts as sunglasses. Second thing is it prevents the DBs from seeing where you're looking out there, doesn't it?
That's exactly the idea.
Motion now to the left side. And Bell gets the call right up the middle. Nick Bell, and is he big? 6'3", 255-pound senior playing tailback.
He's a load. There you see him coming in behind Lou Montgomery. Good block on the backer. And now it's just a big kid from Las Vegas bullying his way for an extra yard or 2.
Boy, he just took Matt Rayberg right along, and Rayberg's no little guy, 265, 6'4". First quarter is history. And at a sold-out Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City, we've got exactly what the fans have wanted. A dead even game so far. Iowa with a 2nd down and 5 coming up on their own 45-yard line. Nick Bell still in there at tailback. The rollout by Rogers. And he is right on target. Complete for the 1st down. And he hits Mike Saunders, the wingback.
Here comes Rogers on the rollout. A couple of blockers out in front, and John Falloon over here on the sideline with the catch. Falloon from Manson, Iowa. Marcus Robertson on the tackle.
We stand corrected. It was Falloon with a reception. Saunders comes into the ball game. That 8 looked like a 3 from our angle up here. Now we have Saunders in motion. And the handoff goes to Bell, and he loses his footing at about the 45-yard line.
Travis Block, the young man from Zwingle, Iowa, went to Maquoketa High School. Rogers having trouble getting a handle on it, but it's Block who gets in there and slows Nick Bell up, and then he goes down. Give him the tackle.
Dane and Hughes split wide to the near side. Falloon to the top of your screen. And a split setback formation in the backfield. Rogers with a straight drop back. Wants to throw. Going over the middle. Complete. 1st down. Hawkeyes. Falloon with his 2nd catch of this drive.
Well, you're going to see Rogers wants Dane and Hughes on the left side. He almost releases it, pulls it back, and then hits Falloon over the middle. Falloon, great hands. Just sucks that one in, no question about it. 1st down, Hawks.
John Falloon had 2 receptions last week for 26 yards. Boy, Matt Rogers is really poised this year. Last year in his rookie season, a lot of indecision. Here's the draw play to Bell. Delay handoff, and the big guy may go all the way. Touchdown, Iowa.
Well, this is what Iowa State didn't want to do. They didn't want to give up the big play. Falloon gets a block right there, and Bell just runs through the Iowa State tackler. And that's why the pros like him, Mark. He's so big and has such great quickness. Iowa State couldn't stop him.
Several of the pro scouts have commented they think that Bell will be one of the first 5 players chosen in the NFL draft.
78 was Rob Baxley screening his man off.
Now the point after. Skillett with the attempt. It is up, and it's good. So the Hawkeyes strike first again now in the 2nd quarter. And with 13:33 to go in the half, Iowa's up by 7. Well, there's an indication of the wind here at Kinnick Stadium out of the north, about 25, 30 miles per hour. 14-7 Hawkeyes, 13:33 to go in the 1st half. As a matter of fact, the wind just blew the football off the tee as Jeff Skillett got ready to kick off. You think there are any televisions in the state of Iowa not turned on to this game today, John?
Well, we hope that's not the situation. We hope they're all watching us, enjoying the broadcast. They're special viewers. Only 4 stations in the whole country get to show this game.
Yeah.
So if they get to see it, they're special.
It took just about an act of Congress to get this game on television. Short kick. Real short kick. And it may go out of bounds. It does. That one ricochets out of bounds at about the 32, but I think someone may have touched it. It may be down over there. Jim Walden in on the controversy right now. He says, you mean to tell me you didn't see that? Well, they're discussing it.
They're having a big discussion.
Yeah. And they are going to have a conference away from Jim Walden.
I noticed Hayden Fry, when that happened, was excited on the Iowa sidelines.
Somebody touched the ball because it changed directions. Now the flag is thrown, so apparently it just goes out of bounds. Walden appears not to be too upset. Let's listen to the referee.
An illegal touching by the kicking team. The receiving team has to touch the ball before it goes out of bounds. We're going to have 5 yards on the kickoff.
There you go. So they kick it off again. Hayden Fry. I don't know if he liked that too much.
I think he wants to talk to one of the stripes here. No, he's going to talk to Bobby Elliott.
All right, let's check the scoring drive here if we have an opportunity. Hawkeyes, of course, leading 14-7. And boy, did they march up the field in a hurry. 72 yards in just 4 plays. And of course, Nick Bell with that 28-yard draw play for the touchdown. And there is Nick Bell.
Well, Iowa State should get great field position out of this when their deep men are now located like at the 15-yard line.
Remember when we came back from commercial, we showed you the flags, how they are blowing here, and Jeff Skillett is kicking right into the wind. And this time he'll have to kick from the 30 instead of the 35. Here are some of the people making our telecast possible and bringing it your way today in Sioux City, KCAU, WOI in Des Moines, Ames, KCRG in Cedar Rapids, and WQAD in the Quad Cities. Glad to have you aboard with us. Skillett tries it again, this time a line squibber, and it's picked up inside the 20. Picked up by Patterson, and he's still going up to midfield. They can't bring him down. He gets to the 45 of Iowa. Talk about a bull. Wow.
You know who was in on the tackle? Jeff Skillett, the kicker. They don't like that. That was a great run by Iowa State.
Now, is this Patterson or Warmack? Let's double check the number here.
I believe it's Warmack,
I
34.
think it's Hussein Warmack. He was the starting fullback for Iowa State. Got switched to tight end. Look at the legs.
Burton Hanks finally meets him head on. Number 11 was Skillett, the kicker. Here go the Cyclones.
Now nobody in the backfield as Williams goes in motion. Utter has better throwing. He does. Out to Williams. One-on-one coverage. Up across the 40 to about the 37. And that's what you call spreading them out, John.
They had him from sideline to sideline with that formation. And once again, you put the ball in the hands of this young man, number 3, Sherman Williams, and he's all over the field, let's say.
Gain of 7 on the play brings up 2nd down and 3 at the Iowa 38. And now we're back to the full house backfield, or actually the I formation. And the handoff goes to Williams. And he has the first down and more across the 30. Doug Book in on the stop for Iowa.
Well, on this play, you're going to see the weak tackle and weak guard, Gene Williams and Scott Armbruster, pull, block, and Williams just hides in behind him, breaks the tackle, and just keeps going. Boy, for a little guy, good power, Mark.
Patterson, the fullback. The pitch goes to Williams, the tailback. Tries to find a hole, not much there, but he gets close to the 25. That'll be a gain of about 4 or 5. You know, so far today, Iowa has not really stopped Iowa State's running game.
No, they have not. Now we see Teotis working against Mike Wells. Wells very strong, breaks the 2-time block, and gets over in the area of the tackle, but did not figure in the play.
Larry Blue in on the stop, according to our spotter, Tim Berry. Well, he had a big one last year, recovering that fumble in the end zone for the tying touchdown. Utter with all sorts of time, now decides to put it away and go for it. And he should have the first down. Shades of Chris Peterson. Iowa State has 2 quarterbacks.
I'll tell you what, he looked all over the field. He looked to his left, he looked to his right. Iowa had the Iowa State receivers tied up. There's one look. Now he comes back, takes another. Nobody open there. He feels some pressure and just runs out of it. Great savvy. Moses Santos finally forces him down.
And there's timeout on the field as they call the chain gang on to measure this one. And it's a first down, Iowa State at the 19.
On the 19-yard line.
Well, Bob Utter's doing a great job right now running the show. He looks over and takes the play from the sideline.
5 carries, 13 yards. Not a lot of rushing so far, but he had 3 attempts at the goal line just to get 1 yard. One thing you know, Iowa State will not be calling any timeouts for the remainder of the half. Utter used them all up in the first quarter. He puts Patterson in motion to the right side. Draw play goes to Williams. He's got the block inside the 10. Williams down to the Iowa 7 or 8 yard line.
And it was another Williams who really made this play work. Gene Williams, the big 315-pound tackle, will get downfield and put a block on the Hawks. And while there he is right there, Sherman cuts right in behind him, and it takes 5 Hawks to get him.
Check the blocking from the end zone right here, if we have time.
Wells pushed out of there by Teotis. Melvin Foster pushed out.
Meanwhile, back to live action. Williams tries the right end. Very little there, if any. Down to the 11-minute mark. Left to play in the first half. 14-7 Iowa, and the Cyclones deep in Hawkeye territory. 2nd down and 7 from the 7.
This is a time when some of these veterans might be able to help Utter out just a little bit. As you pointed out, he's out of timeouts, and they're down in this critical area, so he needs to come up with some good plays. He has to come through now.
Utter, slant pass, flat belly, touchdown, Iowa State. The Cyclones have struck back, and what a rivalry we have today.
Iowa having trouble with this little look-in pass that Utter's throwing. Two-step drop, bango, right there. Ball crosses the plane, he's in, Mark.
John Glotbelly literally backs his way into the end zone, and now it's going to be Shudak on to try to tie it up. Perfect 7 of 7 on the year. It's up, it's good, and it's a brand new game. We've got a barn burner here in Iowa City. 10:31 to go in the first half, and it's a brand new ball game. Iowa State marches up the field 45 yards in just 8 plays, a time of 2:51, and it was Utter to Glotbelly. And there's a good look at the freshman Utter and John Glotbelly, a senior from Ames, played his high school ball right there in town and decided to stay on and sign with the Cyclones.
Former quarterback, right?
You bet. It'll be Hughes and Antela back deep for Iowa to receive. This one headed down into the end zone, and I don't think that'll be returned as Hughes backs way up. Touchback. So Iowa starts out at their own 20-yard line.
Down in the end zone for the touchback.
Danon Hughes, the old Iowa baseball player, just stepped back into deep center field and caught it for the out. 1st and 10 at the 20 for the Hawks.
See who's a tailback this time, because Tony Stewart did the first 2 series, and there's Rogers. And then they brought on Nick Bell. And it looks like we're going to stay with Bell, and they're going to split set. And off this time comes to Montgomery, the fullback.
Iowa ran that play out of a double tight end formation. Bill Lang, normally a tackle, wearing number 1 today, playing left tackle. He comes out of the ball game now, replaced by Falloon. But Lang, normally a tackle, hyperextended an elbow last week, Mark, and is wearing a brace.
2nd down and 6 at the 24, and Hughes goes in motion. And the draw play goes to Bell, and he's still on his feet. And another big gainer. This one doesn't go to Paydard, but Bell gets the first down, and Iowa State has a man down, and maybe Larry Radigan, who is down on the turf. Here's another look at Bell.
What power this guy has. Mark Dubrava paid for that one. He was the tackler that was flattened.
Well,
Did not see the player who's down, though.
It is not Radigan. I think it's Jim Doran. 6 foot, 202-pound senior. If it's number 17, and I think it is.
Well, that's going to hurt because he's the man replacing Dan Watkins, who couldn't play today for the Iowa State Cyclones. So they're going to start getting thin at the linebacker position if Doran can't continue.
Don't like the looks of it either because they're looking at his right knee, apparently.
His dad, of course, a former Cyclone, played for the Detroit Lions. His brother Land also on the ball team. As you said, looking at that right knee.
If Doran can't go, they'll be down to their 3 deep. And it'll be Malcolm Goodwin coming in. Second quarter up in Michigan. The Wolverines on top of the Bruins, 21-6. Syracuse has forged into the lead up in the Carrier Dome, 7-0 over Pittsburgh. Frank Randall, the head trainer of Iowa State, helping Doran off, and he's not limping too badly. That's a good sign.
Well, that's great to see. Hopefully he'll be able to get back in the ball game, and by the looks of it, he probably will.
Well, Nick Bell is a one-man wrecking crew for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Boy, he's had 2 draw plays, and one of them went for a TD, and this one goes for about 20 yards.
Malcolm Goodwin definitely in at linebacker now, replacing Dorn for the Cyclones.
You want to know something about this? I coached him in baseball.
Is that right?
In Little League Baseball. Has a twin brother named Matt. Good people. Great family. This time, Bell again. He busts 1 tackle, busts 2 tackles. Can anybody bring him down? Finally hauled down by Kevin Lazard, a sophomore. But I don't think you can hit Nick Bell up high and do any damage.
Well, it was your old baseball player, Goodwin, who hit him first, couldn't do anything. Then he ran through Marcus Robertson, the preseason All-American, and he's having a good show this afternoon. Saunders and Lang come back in the Iowa lineup. Saunders will split out left.
Bell today, 63 yards on just 5 carries. Second down and 3 at the 48-yard line. And Bell gets the call again. Goes outside, and look at this. There's no hope. You can't take him one-on-one.
Well, Andrew Brooks trying to hit him up high, and you're not going to stop Nick Bell by hitting him there. Bell worked very hard during the offseason, a lot of distance running early on. There's Bugs trying to get him up around the shoulder pads, and you can see, not effective.
First down and then some. And Iowa will have possession at the Iowa State 41-yard line. 8 minutes, 55 seconds to play in the second quarter. It's dead even so far, 14 apiece. Hughes comes in motion. This time the handoff to Montgomery, the fullback. He gets 2 or 3 across the 40. Larry Radigan in on the stop for Iowa State.
Lou, the All-State running back from East Waterloo. Hayden Fry said earlier this week that he's not a typical fullback, that they hope by the middle part of the season, defenses will have to be aware of him as a runner. So they can't key on people like Bell and Stewart.
Next week, Iowa has to travel down to Miami. Iowa State will return home to host Western Michigan on Parents' Day. Here comes Bell again. First down across the 30.
Well, I'm glad we're up here and not sitting down there in white jerseys, because when he gets moving, he has a lot of momentum, but there's a flag down.
Marcus Robertson finally gets credit for the tackle, but let's sort out the penalty right now and find out what it's all about.
Jim Walden is really hot, Mark. He's in the face of the official on the far sideline, and he's really hot.
Referee Jim Kemmerling. Personal foul against Iowa State, and that's going to be a big one. Let's go to the far sideline right now, the Iowa State bench, for an update on Jim Dorn, and here's Tim Seaman.
Frank Randall says that he can have Doran back. It's not, at this point, looking like ligament damage. Plenty of lateral movement in his right knee. Looked like maybe a blow above the knee, but I asked him, can you get him back? And he said, yeah.
All right, good news for Jim Doran. And thank you, Tim Seaman from KCAU. Big penalty. Moves the ball down to the 15-yard line where it's 1st and 10 for Iowa. Tony Stewart back in at tailback. They've got to give Bell a rest sometime. And the draw goes to Stewart. And he's not too big to tackle.
Well, Goodwin moved in there and made the initial hit, slowed him down, and then there was nowhere for him to go. Here's Stewart, number 21. A little delay. Baxley, 78, blocking outside. And there's Malcolm Goodwin, number 40. If you hear the booing, it's because Jim Walden continues to talk to the officials. Very upset about that penalty one play ago.
Walden's probably saying, hey, all we're trying to do is bring him down. That may be the impossible dream for Iowa State today. Rogers to Stewart. Down to the 5 or the 6-yard line where he's ganged out of bounds. And this will be close to a first down.
Iowa runs this one out of the single back formation. The single back was not Tony Stewart. It was Lou Montgomery. Stewart is out here on your left in a slot position. He gets open. Takes it down deep into Cyclone territory. Tony Stewart.
And they're going to measure right here. And this one may be very, very close. First down. 1st and goal to go for the Hawkeyes. This one may go down to who scores last.
They're going up and down the field, aren't they?
And look who's coming back in now. Stewart goes out, and Nick Bell comes back. And look at the hands he's getting from his teammates. What a player. Montgomery at fullback. Bell at tailback. Here comes Big Nick. Fumble! Iowa State recovers at the goal line. Coming up with the football, number 67, Todd Miller. Wow, I thought he had the TD, but he forgot the ball.
Here it is from the end zone. Iowa just pushed Iowa State inside. He pulls over a couple people. The hit, the ball comes loose, and Miller's on top of it. Give Mark DeBrava credit for knocking that ball loose.
Watch it again, ground level. Oh, nice hit. And you knew immediately that Nick Bell also knew he forgot the football. Iowa State now, with their backs against the wall, they need to get some working room. And the handoff to the fullback. Patterson, and gets him 2 or 3. What a big, big play.
I was talking with Robin Ross, the defensive coordinator for Iowa State yesterday, and he said, that's what we need. We need to force some turnovers. You know, in 2 games, they'd only gotten 1 turnover, and that was a fumble against UNI.
Well, the turnovers now are even at 1 apiece. Iowa State fumbled away the football on their first possession of the day. Hunter with a delay handoff to Williams. And Rulon just ate him alive. There will be a loss of about 2 on the play, and Iowa State will be back at the 1.
There's also a flag down on this play.
Well, motion penalty against Iowa State. It can only be half the distance to the goal, and I think they will decline it.
Here's the play. Utter going back. Little delay. Hands off to Williams. Matt Rulon from Hilbert, Wisconsin, meets him and pushes him back.
Says, how do you do? How's the family? Boy, he's a big guy. 6'5", 273-pounder. Big play right here. Quick pass, complete, out to the 5-yard line. Utter hits Chris Spencer. Now, there was some confusion with the down markers. Let's see if it's 4th down now or just 3rd. I guess it's 3rd. They must have taken the penalty. Brings up a 3rd down and 6. And another thing to keep in mind right now is Iowa State does not have any timeouts remaining here in the first half. 3rd down and 6 with your backs to the wall. The pitch. Oh, a quick kick and a flag. A quick punt. Whistles blow. John, you better get your rule book out. We're about to see anything from Jim Walden here. The flag flew immediately. And let's see what the penalty is all about.
That was Jason Williams with the quick kick. And how long has it been since we've seen that? I'll tell you what, Iowa may have a decision to make here.
Dead ball.
No, it's a dead ball.
On the offense, still 3rd down.
Well, the play never happened, so that'll cost them half the...
Please set the clock at 5 minutes, 36 seconds, please.
All right, they reset the clock 6 seconds because the play should not have taken place. And a dead ball false start cannot be declined, so they will assess the penalty. That will cost them half the distance. It'll go back to the 2.5-yard line, if there is such a thing. It'll be 3rd down and about 8.5 now. And the clock has been reset to 5:36. Well, I wonder what's up Jim Walden's sleeve this time. I think you go for it now. You pass the football. Nobody in the backfield. You know he's going to pass. Utter throwing to Glotfeldy at the 9. And Iowa State will come up about a yard or two short. And now it's time to punt the football, and you have a little room to work with. Gary Clark in on the coverage. If my memory serves me correctly, John, I think this is the first time Iowa State's punted all day.
I believe it is. John Schnorr in to do the duty. He's a left-handed punter. Left-handed, left-footed make that.
Doug Book back to receive the Cyclone punt. And let's see what this is about.
Reset the 25-second clock. Thank you.
Just resetting the 25-second clock. 4:56 to play in the first half. John Snur, 4 punts, averaging only 37 yards per punt, his longest a 48-yarder, but he does have the wind at his back. And as we said, Doug Book, the deep back for Iowa. 25-second clock down to 5. And plenty of time, and he hits a high hanger. It's a dandy. And Book takes it at his own 35 and has nowhere to go. And he is just held there until help comes. So Iowa starts out inside their own 35-yard line with 4:24 to go in the first half. Iowa will take over just short of their own 35-yard line after perhaps the longest punt of John Snorer's career. A 63-yard punt and no return. Hello, everybody. We're way up high here. John, get over here so everybody can see you. You're on TV, but here's Bell again, and he gets back to about the original line of scrimmage and little, if any, else. Dan Milner, the nose or the middle linebacker for Iowa State, on the stop.
Mark, we should note that Jim Dorn back in the lineup now for the Iowa State Cyclones, that linebacker. So that's good news.
Nick Bell today, 79 yards on 8 carries. 2nd down and 9. Give him 1 on that last play. And now an audible from Rogers at the line. He spreads Falloon out farther wide to the right side, and Rogers is going to air it out. Over the middle, complete to Falloon or not? Incomplete. Broke it up.
Well, that's good football on both sides. You see Falloon is going to come back and go to the pass, but great defense also by the Cyclone defender. There's Rogers looking to his right. Great defense there. I believe that's Robertson. Yes, it is. Marcus Robertson on the defense.
Rogers now 5 of 7 on the day. He's only missed twice. 3rd down and 9. He'll probably air it out of here. This one's a quick one out to Bell. He misses it. Simply dropped it. And the Hawkeyes will be forced to punt.
That's not like Nick. He has a good set of hands for a big man. He came out of a wing position to catch that ball. Bell once caught 13 passes against Indiana 2 years ago. That's an Iowa record.
Well, let's see if Hayden Fry has any tricks up his sleeve. Don't think you'd do it right here on your own 35. Isaac's end-over-ender. Is it touched? Nope, I don't believe so. No indication from the officials. No. The officials say it's Iowa State football. It looked like for a moment there that maybe Jason Williams touched the football. Hayden Fry thinks so. And let's take a look at the replay.
Well, number 47 who snapped the ball, Steve Bro, is going to come downfield now. Ball comes loose.
I don't think he touched it.
Hard to tell from this angle, but Bro definitely is there.
Well, the crowd thought he may have. That's why the noise. Iowa State takes over on their own 35, and Williams runs into a brick wall at the 35.
He ran into Rod Davis is who he ran into.
There was nowhere to go on that play. Rod Davis, a big 260-pound junior nose guard.
Same high school as the Harmon brothers, Mark. It's that Eastern pipeline that Iowa's had over the years. Brought in some great players here.
Three minutes exactly left to play in the first half. And it's still a tie game at 14-all. Hutter has Spencer across the 45. First down.
Spencer hurting just a little bit down there. He took a shot.
Boy, that would be a big blow for Iowa State's fortunes this year. And he is hurt.
Yeah, Iowa State counted so much on him when he came in. Then he hurt his knee 2 years ago in practice. You can see he still wears the brace. Here's the play again. Utter takes the snap from Teotis. Three-step drop, fires it. Spencer has it.
Oh, little twist.
Gary Clark on the tackle.
Well, while the trainers look at Chris Spencer, let us look at some scores from other games. Second quarter, Michigan leading UCLA 21-12, and apparently Spencer is going to be all right. Syracuse up 7-3 over Pittsburgh, and Virginia may not lose one all year. They've got a pretty soft schedule from here on out after battling Clemson in their opener. First and 10, Iowa State. And the ball spotted at the Cyclone, 49. Our game is dead even, 14-all. 2:44 to go in the first half. But Iowa State cannot stop the clock. They're out of timeouts. Only a three-man rush. Hutter with plenty of time and takes off. And he gets up to the Iowa 45-yard line. A flag down on the play, and we may have holding against Iowa State.
There is a flag on the play.
That appears to be the call, holding on State.
Keep an eye on the tackle on the right side of the screen there.
Yep. Gene Williams, 72. He gets him around the back. Can't do that.
We have a hold on the offense. First down.
Gene, of course, played guard last year. Has moved outside to tackle. The place vacated by Keith Sims, who now starts for the Miami Dolphins. Big man, 315.
penalty stops the clock with 2:32 to go in the first half. And now they're trying to figure out where the ball should be spotted. And originally they had only marked off 5 yards, and the Iowa players caught it and said, whoa, we got to go back a little more. So it's 1st and 20 officially, and the ball will be spotted on the Cyclone 39. And now the clock is started. 2.5 minutes to go first half. Single back in the backfield, Sherman Williams for Iowa State. 3 wideouts split to the left. Williams tries to cut around the right side, and he's snagged by Moses Santos and dropped for a loss. Just
good
not
defense.
quick enough.
Yeah, good defensive play by Santos. Comes across, boxes in, doesn't let the man get outside. 6'3", 236, another player from New York.
Loss of 3 on the play brings up 3rd and 23. Iowa really has a New York-New Jersey connection, don't they, John?
They have a great pipeline out there.
Nobody in the backfield as Williams goes in motion. Otter wants to throw, goes out to Williams, up to the 40, and nothing else. Still about 19 shy of the first down.
You know, we were talking about that Eastern pipeline. Here's the replay. Utter. Just a quick fire outside. And now you got to contend with some great speed, some great vision.
Well, now the Hawkeyes call timeout. They want to stop the clock because Hayden Fry would like to have his hands on the football one more time before intermission. So the clock is stopped with 1:25 left to play. A little conference going on with Mel Foster. Let's go down to the Hawkeyes sideline and Eric Nelson. Eric?
Okay, Mark, one of the things that Iowa defensive line coach Ted Gill is telling his people up front is to get your hands up because Utter is short. He takes those quick dropbacks, and he gets rid of the ball real quickly. So look for the Iowa lineman to try and deflect some passes. He's only 5'11". Back to you guys.
Good point. Good point. We were talking about that Eastern pipeline. Bernie Wyatt was a great recruiter for Iowa out there. He now has gone up to Wisconsin, Mark. So it's going to be interesting to see if Iowa can keep that Eastern connection.
Iowa State on 3rd down conversions today, 1 of 4. Iowa on 3rd down conversions, 0 of 2. So it hasn't been very productive for either team today on 3rd down. 3rd and 19 for Iowa State right here with a mile to go. And Williams doesn't pick that mile up. He gets across midfield. But Iowa State will still be about 8 or 9 yards shy of the first down. And I would assume that Jim Walden will punt the football. Scott Plates, you know, the tackle. When I say assume, you always have to say that when you're referring to Jim Walden's team, because you never really know for sure.
Fry says you always have to prepare that he's going to throw in a wrinkle or two.
Well, right now, Jim Walden's just letting the 25-second clock run down. They'll take the penalty. It won't help or hurt their punting attempt, but it will eat up a lot more of the time. 25-second clock expires here. Here will be the flag. And the game clock is still rolling.
Good coaching on the part of the Cyclones there. They don't want to give Iowa any more time than they have to.
Ball, delay of game on the offense. Clock will start on the snap.
You know, I think Iowa really lost a couple of seconds on the game clock there. I think they were late in stopping it. But in any result, we are now 33 seconds away from halftime. Doug Book back to receive the punt. Schnurr's had a 63-yarder, and he's got one blocked. Iowa has the ball inside the 15. It's Eddie Polly that comes up with it.
Merton Hanks on the block, Mark. Merton Hanks, that is the 5th block kick in his career. Here he comes from the right side of your screen, knocks it down, and then it's a chase for the ball, and number 27, Eddie Pauley, is the first man there. Big break for the Hawkeyes with 31 seconds to go.
Just what Jim Walden did not want. Taking the delay of game penalty to eat up time on the clock. And there is Burton Hanks. And Iowa first and 10 on the 17 of the Cyclones. Hughes goes in motion. Rogers throws to Bell. And he's dropped immediately by Jim Dorn. And now Iowa will call timeout to stop the clock because Bell did not get out of bounds.
Here's Rogers. He's got his man, Nick Bell, Jim Dorn on the stop.
I think that ball may have been tipped and he still caught it. 29 seconds left to play in the half. Iowa down to their final timeout now. They'll have one remaining.
Hayden Fry has the troops gathered around. Number 12 is Jim Hartley, the backup quarterback for the Hawkeyes. 16, Paul Burmeister from here in Iowa City West.
Iowa State had their very first punt of the season partially blocked. It was deflected against Northern Iowa. There's the time remaining. Jim Walden having a little conference with the side judge. Or, John, I don't see any empty seats up there anywhere. And unlike some of the previous years, nobody's leaving by halftime.
No, nobody's leaving. Nobody's going out to get an early hot dog either.
Steely from the Quad City, going to University of Chicago. Sandy Steely of the Quad City.
Second down and 5. It's at the 13-yard line. 29 seconds left to play first half. Hughes in motion again. And Rogers on the rollout again. Does he get out of bounds? He does. That'll stop the clock with 19 seconds to go.
Well, that's probably the best thing he did on this play is getting out of bounds. He was looking downfield. Iowa State had his people covered. Lou Montgomery down there, or Michael Tintley should make that. And now he just tucks it under his arm, and he knows he's got to get out of bounds to stop that clock. They only have one timeout left.
Well, you have to figure that Iowa certainly will end up putting points on the board because they're well within range of Jeff Skillett's field goal attempt. Here's the big man, Bell, and he is wrapped up by Robertson just about the line of scrimmage. And now Iowa may call their final timeout, and it's decision time for Hayden.
Well, it's hard to believe that play took only 2 seconds, but that's all that went off the clock. They give it to the big guy. No hole on the right side, so he ducks in left side. Robertson and crew there to stop him.
It's going to bring up a 4th down and 1. And even if they get that 1, can they reset in time then to try the field goal, or will they try to get a second play off and maybe have Rogers throw it out of bounds to stop the clock?
It would seem if they get the first down, the clock will stop while the chains are moved. That doesn't give them much time to set up the field goal team.
Well, obviously the question here, both coaches, neither one of them wants to go down trailing at halftime into the locker room. But I think you can't enter into a situation like this where one team's knocking on the door. No matter what happens, somebody's going to feel good, somebody's going to feel badly in going to the halftime locker room.
Well, the last time Iowa was down there, remember the big fumble recovery by the Iowa State Cyclones. They stopped them once.
They asked for a measurement. It's less than a yard. Clock is stopped. 17 seconds left to play first half. And Hartley comes into the ball game now also. I don't see Rogers in there.
Well,
so
Skillett's coming in. It looks like they're going to kick.
Jim Hartley is on the field. Well, like you said, it looks like they're going to kick.
It looks like they're going to kick.
It will be a 25-yard attempt. Just a chip shot for Skillett. time is good. But Iowa State will get their hands on the football because 12 seconds remain. Iowa has forged on top 17-14. I don't know if both teams are going to feel good or bad going in the locker room now. Iowa State's going to be lifted somewhat, stopping Iowa from finding the end zone. Iowa's going to feel good. They did get 3 out of it instead of 6.
Hayden Fry and Jeff Skillett talking things over. Iowa obviously decided they could not run the ball. Even if they got the first down, they wouldn't have time to set up their field goal team. They didn't want to take a chance at throwing it to the end zone or throwing it anywhere and having the interception, because then you really take the wind out of your sails.
Plus, you have to look at it like when they start the second half, because Iowa deferred and Iowa State received at the opening kickoff. Iowa will likely get their hands on the football first in the second half. Iowa State will have the wind at their back, and the last time Skillett kicked off, it was very short, you might recall.
Well, that was good for Jeff Skillett to hit that, too, because in the opening game, he missed 2 field goals, the only 2 he tried. That's one reason you saw the picture of Hayden Fry with his arm draped around this young man, because he's counting on him. He needs Jeff Skillett to hit field goals this year. Skillett has a strong leg. He just needs to hit some to get that confidence up.
Into the wind, and if anything, the wind has picked up here this afternoon. Started out about 20 at game time and has increased as the afternoon has wore on. And another line drive, and this one will be picked up by Iowa State just about the 23. And it's Lamont Hill that gets it up across the 30. And Iowa State will have time for one play. 6 seconds left on the halftime clock. 17-14. Iowa leading Iowa State in what so far has been a dandy.
Great game so far. Great game. Both teams moving the ball well. We've seen the freshman quarterback for Iowa State doing very well in his first half of college ball.
Utter just merely downs the ball, and that is the end of the first half. So both teams will regroup, go to the halftime locker rooms, and the rivalry is everything it should be. A 3-point game with the Iowa Hawkeyes leading Iowa State 17-14.